Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and today's video I mentioned yesterday would probably be a peek at the, for want of a better word, magic or spell that I've been brewing in order to rid my country of what doesn't serve us. Now, I'm very deliberate, about casting a spell, and I want to be very careful with my choice of words, and I don't want any harm. I'm not asking for any harm to come of anyone. That's not to say that the result of a natural consequence on their part could bring harm, but that's on them and not I. On the daily, if someone is having a problem or somebody needs intervention or something, I light a candle. And I used to light real candles, but then I'd have like 30 candles in my house at one time. I was afraid of burning my house down because I allow the candle to burn itself out, So then about 3 years ago, I guess 3 or 4 years ago, I got smart and I started buying battery operated candles. They're very inexpensive, and I just let them burn themselves out. And with the intent and the understanding that I put into my spell that it carries the same energy as a flaming candle. It's just to preserve my life, So I made that concession, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Now, a few videos ago, I did a reading on what we could do as a spiritual community to affect positive change. Now, that's not to assume that all of you who watch my channel are witches or participate in these kinds of things. But if you pray, then you participate in spell work, because a prayer is words. You're spelling out a desire for something to come true. What is that? That's a spell, okay? So I'm not trying to get anyone to do something they're not comfortable with. But if you're just here to see what I might do to affect change or to rid my country of someone who, or a movement that does not serve us. It's not that it no longer serves us. It never served us, but to rid an influence that does not serve us. I'm still working on it, but this is what I've come up with. Now, I'll flip the camera, but before I do, I just want to mention that this is a more serious or more, I need the 4 corners of the planet kind of thing, whereas, with lighting the candles and showing my intent and writing my intent and releasing it in the form of, fire energy. This is more, this affects more people. And so for that reason, I pull out my heavy hitter arsenal. Anyway, I'll stop talking and flip the camera. Now, I have 2 vessels. I'm not sure which I'll use, but the vessels will contain the water. Now, the water that I just tried to one of my subscribers, thank you, in the comments section, wrote something that I could do suggested something I could do to improve the skipping. And I did that, but it still seems like it's skipping. So I didn't do it properly, I guess. But thank you. Anybody who has suggestions for how I can improve this problem I have, I'd appreciate it. But at any rate, the water I chose was water that sat out in the new moon. I waited for the new moon, right? So I have the water, purified water, just sat out under the new moon on my window ledge. That's it. Nothing fancy. I didn't dance in the woods, under a new moon. I just put it on the window ledge. That's it. What I'm trying to do is use symbols or things from the 4 elements, because this is magic that I propose to affect the planet for the good. So I have things that I think would represent air. I was tearing my tarot parlor apart for a feather. I had 1,000 feathers. I must have lost them, or I don't know what happened to them. But I'm determined to find a feather, because I'd really rather have a feather than a picture of one. And here's a wing. I can't take the wing of a bird. I wouldn't do such a thing. So I have a symbol, I guess like an angel wing or a bird wing. I have a few symbols of things that take flight, like dragonflies and butterflies. But again, I wouldn't have, the real thing, because I just wouldn't do harm, And here's an arrow that goes through the air. I thought quartz might, because quartz has property that is often used in electrical charges. It could also be argued that it's earth, but because it comes from the earth, obviously. But I was wondering if these things just might not satisfy a requirement in a real physical, tangible form of air. And if I can find my feathers, I could use those. As I mentioned, the water, which sat out on the window ledge of a new moon, but you can use any water. I just use the new moon because I think the new moon represents starting fresh and clearing the slate clean. For fire, the obvious choice is a real candle. I mean, it's time to do the real thing. You could use incense or burn something of your choice, but because I've now developed asthma, it will affect my breathing. So, a candle will suffice. And salt of the earth, right? For earth. So I gathered my materials for air, water, fire, earth. I have a vessel. I'm not sure which one I'll use. This one seems more lovely. Look how pretty that one is. Isn't that beautiful? I think that's a peacock. Yes, it's a peacock. So it's designed with peacocks all around, which is lovely. And so I've gathered my components for this thing. The other things that I want to have, because I'm a tarot reader, let me flip the camera. The other thing that I want to have, and I printed them, excuse me, and I have to go down the basement and get them because they're, that's where my printer is. But an image of a picture of what it is that I want to happen. And as I saw in the reading that I did the other day on video about what could the spiritual community do to rid us of this, the outcome card was to have him, it was a different deck, it was the Connolly deck, but I just pulled this from TDM. It was to have him pay the consequence. Ultimately, he needs to pay the consequence for what he's done. If he pays the consequence for what he's done, in some fashion being removed from power, I don't have to ask for anything more deliberate. I won't allow him to remove my humanity from me. right? I'm not asking for his removal of life. I'm just asking for his removal of power. What comes of that is on him. But I have not lost my humanity. The other image is an image of you-know-who, which sickens me to look at, but an effigy of him, I think, is part of this thing that I want to do. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to put it together. I probably will even add some oil. Now I have oil. Oh, what did I do with my oil? From my old house, I had a lavender garden, and my daughter and I would grow the lavender, harvest the lavender, and then we would make oils. And this is from then, so it's at least 2 years old. But I keep it in the dark blue and in a dark place, so I think it's probably, I could probably still use it. And I'll probably use a few drops of oil, which doesn't have anything to do with the 4 elements of the earth, but it's kind of got a healing essence to it. Lavender is very healing. So I'm going to be putting these elements together. I'll probably pour the water in the vessel, and I have more water. I prepared more water, but I'm just showing it in this little container for convenience sake. And I'll probably put the water in the vessel. I'll probably float the candle without any container to have it float. I'll put salt in the water and have it dissolve. And I'll put my quartz, which I hate to damage the quartz, by putting it in with salt. Somebody who is aware of how that might affect the quartz, the salt might affect the quartz. I don't want to damage the quartz. I have to do a little research. If it does damage the quartz, then I'll probably just put in a symbol for air. But I want to find a feather. I have feathers someplace, so I want to use the feather. And then a few drops of the oil. On the bottom of all that, I'll have his image and the image of the hanged one. His image first and then the hanged one on top, because the hanged man for me is an image of being held accountable and being punished, being removed. Some of you could say, well, you could use the judgment card. I could, but the judgment card didn't appear in the reading I did for what we as a collective whole could do. So I'm using the image that was spelled out in that read. So it's an image of you-know-who. It's an image. I just took a picture. I'm not using a genuine card. The image of the end result. Pour the water in, put the candle in, or put the water in, the candle, the salt, and a feather, if I can find a feather. Write down on the back of the image of you-know-who, and also on the back of the image of the card for being held accountable and being punished. What I believe is humanity's desire to remove him from power with the best possible outcome. I think, and it breaks my heart, but I think this country, obviously, this country has lost its humanity. There are more humans in this country that have lost their humanity than have retained their humanity. And I don't think it's hard to lose your humanity. Well, some people will never lose their humanity. I mean, look at the people who suffered in camps. Look at Frankel. He never lost his humanity. Maybe he felt he came close. And I think he discusses that. But you hang on to your humanity. And we have to restore humanity to the broken humans. There's a defect. Okay, I don't want to preach. There's no crone like an old crone. But I thought I would share what I'm up to. And if you would like to join me, we can decide on a date to do this. You know, if I don't hear from you after this, I will probably do it quickly because I'd rather it be faster than not. And there's no reason why we have to do it all together on the same day. As you're able to get this stuff together, if you think, you know, the intent of a group of us who are spiritually inclined, if you believe in magic if you believe in prayer, then you believe in magic is my point. So if you believe in prayer, you believe in magic, okay? And if you would be willing to pray to rid somebody of something, and if that's how you do it, do it. Do it, you know? But if you'd like to participate in something like this, do it your way. You don't have to do it my way. I'm just showing you a suggestion. Just like with tarot, you don't have to read tarot cards like I read tarot cards. You don't, right? My way isn't the right way. It's just my way. And your way of releasing the desire and the intent for him to be held accountable and removed from power, whatever your way is, that's great. But if you've been struggling for a way to express that, and this satisfies some aspect of you, if it awakens the witch in you, then feel free to participate and join in with me at any time that you feel fit. It's still only, I think the moon is still only 4% visible. So if you want to do it, go in the kitchen, you know, bless your water, however you bless your water, purify water, and stick it on, well, putting it under the moon, which is out. It's currently out. It's not like you have to have it be dark. It's out there, right? Put it under your windowsill if that's what you want to do. Anyway, I hope this has been interesting to you and insightful to you. And after I end this video, I'll go get my images and I'll start the ball rolling. I'm going to do it right away because I think there's no time like the present. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be kind.